After my debut on the FPL Black Box analysing my wreckage of a season, we thought we had the solution. We thought the wildcard would send my team soaring back up those rankings. But instead the Cunha captaincy brought me crashing back down to earth. And now the question is there anything we can do to save this season, even at this early stage? Yes. The game week as I record is still going on. I've come out the house just after the Liverpool-Arsenal match has finished, and it's not a pretty sight. I still have Ismail Assar to play. He's probably kicking off just around about now. But, I mean, there's not a lot Ismail Assar's going to do either way. Even if he gets a hat-trick, I'm still going to be really struggling in these rankings. As it stands, I need him to at least get a clean sheet point just to break 100 points. I'm on 97 points as it stands. 97 points after 3 game weeks of the season. I've come on the YouTube, I've had a season making me flashy videos, and I thought, right, now it's the time to get real. Now it's the time to get serious. I'll cut off half my mates, 3/4 of my mates that I'm in a mini league with, start this new mini league, all the big name content creators, the elite operators of the game, and I will show them what the League of Gentlemen can do. I will show them what I have to offer this game. And what's happened? I'm rock bottom. I might be second bottom behind with only the lad that came second to me last year behind me. But either way, I'm right at the bottom of this league, get my arse whooped. And, you know, it's like it could have been so much better. You think it's all going wrong. I've got, you know, my season was already a mess. And then I had Saka injured, Palmer injured, Strand Larsen injured, Gordon suspended. Nunes, will he even play? Well, he did, but, you know, didn't really do much, did he? Give away a penalty. But, so we're on the black box. Great experience. Big thanks to us. Big thank you to all you for the support. If you're new to the channel, if this is your first video after that black box, I appreciate you coming along. If you have been a bit of a support for a while and you came and boosted me up, I really appreciate it. Wonderful. But, you know, we had all them players missing. All the rest are out of form, you know. So we thought, right, the wild card, it's the only solution, like. What more can you do? I don't want to be wild carding in game week 3. Nobody ever does, because it's a sign things are going really wrong. Really wrong. And do you know what the irony is? If I hadn't wild carded, if I'd have gone in with £30 million of attacking talent unavailable, if I'd have gone in with no Nunes, well, even with Nunes, you know, if I'd have gone in without replacing him, the risk of him missing out, I would have had 5 more points without transfers than I do right now. Would have had, I mean, Bruno Fernandes as captain would have done the heavy lifting, but, you know, 5 points extra with no transfers, and I've got 5 points fewer with a wild card. And it's just like, it's almost sickening, really. Like, I feel like I'm making such a fool of myself, but what can you do? This is the game. It can't always go according to plan. I hoped my narrative for the season was going to be one of, you know, the underdog coming in, shaking things up and taking down all the big guns with his maverick strategy, the hero's journey, the real life Rocky Balboa. Well, I'm not Rocky Balboa. I'm more like Mike Tyson in the latter fights of his career, just getting my ass whooped by all them fighters who you can't even remember the names of. Julius Summit or whatever he was called. It's not good, it is not good. So I've got my notes. We will have a look through them at the minute. So the wildcard team, I went with, I mean, it wasn't all bad. We will say that it wasn't all bad. And when you're analysing a wildcard, it's not just about that week. It's about the coming weeks. And I do feel like I'm in a better position. But, you know, I always feel when you end up with fewer points, you could have just left the wild card a week and had a wild card. I could have wild carded next week with 5 extra points on the board and more information. But I always knew that was going to be the case. I have traditionally, I'm very good with the chips. Traditionally, I get a lot of points off them, except the wild card. In fact, I would say out of my last 6 wild cards that I've played over the last few seasons, I've probably got 5 red arrows. So maybe, in a weird way, maybe getting rid of the wild card will be a help for me, because I'll be forced to trust these people like Jared Bowen, who I got rid of and I knew he'd score. How could you just knew he'd score when you always know these players, wily operators, proven performers, you always know they're going to score when you get rid of them. Bowen did that, but I didn't mind that. Did not mind Bowen scoring because I got rid of my double Forest defence and I got in double Spurs, and you know, the double Spurs defence hasn't paid off this week, but them save points for Vicario, they hit like the DEFCON points do. And then of course Pedro Porro randomly gets 3 defensive contributions added after the match finishes for an extra 2 points, gives us 4 points. So everyone in my defence has actually got additional points for me this week. So, I mean, that is a nice turnaround. I've got Kukureya in, 6 points. Although he's not performing as well as that Shaloba. My man Roberto Hollis, what a shout that was from him to bring in Shaloba. Who else did I get in? I got in Porro, 4 points, not great. Livramento, now bloody hell, what was Eddie Howe playing at yesterday? Like, it's so frustrating that I'm trying to back my boys. I'm trying to back Newcastle. I brought in Gordon for that disaster piece captaincy on Monday night, -4 points. Well, at least Cunha got me 6 extra points than my Gordon captaincy did. You know, you can't always get it right, but sometimes you've got to seek these small wins. And that extra 6 points from my captaincy this week, that's progress. Cunha was progress, which says it all, really. But, yeah, what was Eddie Howe playing at? I took out Gordon, brought in Barnes, because I thought, why not? Why wouldn't you play Harvey Barnes? He's Newcastle's only goal scorer. You know, we've got no Isak, unavailable. Osula, not very good. Voltemada, not quite available for selection. Gordon, suspended through stupidity. And then I thought, Harvey Barnes, Newcastle's second top scorer. Surely Eddie Howe is going to play him. And of course he didn't. For some reason, Eddie Howe thought the promoted club, Leeds, we need to play 5-4-1 all-out defence. And it's like, what's that all about? That is not the way I approach my FPL team. It's not the way a Newcastle manager should approach a game like that, to be honest. But we can let it slide. Maybe what King Eddie was thinking was, we're missing all this attacking talent. We're lacking for goals. Make sure we get the point on the board. Get the winner if we can. Who knows? I don't know. It didn't help me with Harvey Barnes, who looked useless when he came on anyway. Didn't help me man Az on the black box. He brought in Alanga. What can you do? It's the way the game goes sometimes, but it could have been Semenyo. He didn't do anything. He was on my list. Could have been Gibbs White. Didn't do anything. He was on my list. You know, it's a weird season so far. It's a weird season. So, yeah, that Cunha captaincy, though, that was so frustrating because, you know, I had Bruno Fernandes from game week 1 for this fixture, for the captaincy. And then it came off the black box and I thought, if I'm wildcarding, my plan was wildcard and then take a -4 next week, get rid of Chris Wood for Ekitike and the Man United midfielder for Gakpo. And now you think, why get rid of Chris Wood? He's got them 2 good games after Arsenal. This is true. Maybe I will keep him. We'll see what happens over the break. But I just feel I need to be aggressive. I feel like I need to be aggressive to make up the ground that I've already lost. You know, I'm almost 100 points off the top of my mini-league. I'm still ranked, I've got a green arrow at the minute, but I'm still around 9.2 million or something. The last time I checked, probably lower. Haaland's actually probably maybe got me a bit higher, but certainly could be a bit lower. Still not used to walking past people, so if you're wondering what that little edit was, some nice young lads walked by, said good evening, which is good because, you know, I'm getting to be an old man now, 40 years old. Won't be long until I've got a little cane and I'll be scared of the ute like. But, you know, I actually find young people are, on the whole, more respectful of the older generation than they're given credit for. And, you know, I think they get a hard rap, especially given that they're growing up in such bizarre socio-economic times that we're in, where like it just gets harder and harder to live. And that's got nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it is getting harder and harder to save this FPL team. But yeah, I think Haaland will have boosted me up the rankings, maybe even into the heights of the top 9 million. We just don't know. We just don't know. We'll have to check. Of course, the Liverpool result might have brought that down a bit. A lot of people would have had Liverpool players. Not that they did much. And then there's Villa. Watkins could do something. Rodgers. Sarr, I've got Sarr. Munoz. Richards. You know, there's a lot of players still to play. Behind me, before the ranks are finalised. Can't stop burping. You know, between this and the black box, you're going to think I've got some sort of gas problem. When the only gas problem I've had is that my team has got a gas leak and needs exploding. Oh my God. So what else went wrong this week? Let's have a look. My wildcard team, disaster. Harvey Barnes dropped, disaster. Joao Pedro, now that was a good one. That was a good call. I was happy with that. I didn't mind, you know, I got rid of Bowen, got in Joao Pedro, that's fine. Got rid of Watkins, got in Haaland, that's probably going to be fine. Certainly when you factor in that Burnley game in game week 6. So I'm not too disappointed with my attack. Strand Larsen out for Wood. I mean, Wood got more points than Strand Larsen, so, you know, we're ahead there. But yeah, Joao Pedro, good goal. And you know, I was quite scathing about Pedro in my pre-season video. The differentials to avoid, if you remember that one. Joao Pedro was high on that list. And if I swing around, you can see, look at this view up here, 5 minutes from my house. That's my town, beautiful. Looking out over all you can survey. There's the duck pond we take the kids to. Take the kids to the duck pond. Want to take me there and drown me after this week? I'm only joking. If I tried to drown myself, somehow I'd find a way to float back to the surface and prolong this agony. But no, we shouldn't joke about these sorts of things. The ducks are quacking, but it's my team that is driving me quackers. Yeah, I think I was wrong about Joao Pedro, you know. Fair play to him. Maybe it's one of them situations where he gets better with the players around him. He certainly seems to be stepping up to the mark at Chelsea. But I will urge caution. This time last season, I again contemplated a wildcard in game week 3 to get in Joao Pedro. And then he went away on international duty, got injured, and that was a waste of 2 transfers. So, you know, we'll have to see what happens there, but maybe he's the one I have to take out for Ekatike for a hit. We'll see. Of course, that depends on if Isak joins Liverpool or not. I don't know what's happening now, but certainly doesn't look that way with less than 24 hours to the deadline. But we'll see. Wissa put out his statement this morning. All these professional footballers acting like teenagers on Facebook. You know, slide into me DMs, hun, let me know what's going on. Bloody hell, like, get a bit of respect for yourselves, Wissa and Isak. Poor. Not as poor as my FPL team. My FPL team is as low as Isak's self-respect. So, yeah, I think I might have been wrong about Pedro, but we'll see. The apology for doubting him is not coming just yet, but at the minute, he kept my FPL team alive this week, so thank you very much, Joao Pedro. Spurs, you remember Last season, that I brought in triple Forest defence on my free hit. They conceded after 70 seconds. Well, I got rid of double Forest defence on my wildcard, and that looked a good decision. That does look a good decision when you can concede 3 goals at home to West Ham. And that's why I didn't mind Jared Bowen scoring. I was actually rooting for it because some of my rivals in that league, a lot of my 11 million rivals throughout the game have Forest defenders. A lot of them are doubled up. That Bowen goal may not have got me 8 points, but it probably kept me 8 points closer to a lot of my rivals. So that is a good thing. Thank you, Jared Bowen, signing off from my team with style. We will see you later in the season. But yeah, that triple Forest clean sheet wipeout within 70 seconds on my free hit last season. Wildcard, bringing Spurs, Vicario, Pedro Porro. Or was it 3 minutes wipeout this time? You just can't make these things up. This is what I mean. I just don't have a lot of luck with the wildcard on the initial week. But Porro got an extra 2 points, Vicario got an extra point. It's not the end of the world. It is a positive. They've got good fixtures coming up. They don't play Arsenal next week like Forest. And this is what it is with your wildcard. There'll be a lot of your wildcarding now, ready for the international break. And what I would say is if you're in a doubt between 2 players, go for the one you're happy to keep in your team the longest. That's what I did there. I did think about maybe I could go with Sells and Porro or Vicario and Milenkovic. But in the end, I decided if I had to keep them in my team, if I couldn't find the free transfers to get rid of them, who would I want in my team the longest? And the answer is Spurs. It's why I brought in Cucurella, because I'd be happy with him until game week 16, game week 17. And that's how you've got to approach these wild cards, because you don't have that get out of jail free card anymore. Got a little runner running by. A little nod of acknowledgement. This is what it's like up in P-Town. This is what it's like in the real north. What am I on about? Half the time I hide my camera when people go by in case they rob it. I'm not... But yeah, that's why I was going to do a reaction video last night actually, but I couldn't because it was absolutely trucking it down. And this camera is very expensive for me. I'm just a care worker. I can't afford all this technology, but I thought I'll buy this camera and we'll use that to you know, make these videos for you all. And it's not waterproof. It's the Osmo Pocket 3. Lovely camera. I really like it. Highly recommend it to a lot of the content creators. If any content creators are watching it, grab a Pocket 3 and get out, hit the trails. Start reeling off your FPL thoughts unedited and let people behind the scenes, because people like this. You know, people like these uncensored thoughts. Sometimes I might like them to be a bit more structured. But how good was it at the start of the season when Big Andy Mears, Let's Talk FPL, he just set his camera up and started talking about the game. No graphics, no flash, no, you know, none of the bells and whistles, just a man talking about his team, a content creator talking about the team, real, uncensored, unfiltered. I like it. I feel like there should be more. As much as I'm enjoying Elite FPL's content, I wish Steve-O would grab that camera and hit the trail, like. Let's get walking videos into FPL. So yeah, I couldn't do one last night because I'm not prepared to risk my camera in the rain. Like, the wind was the bigger issue because of the audio quality. You know, my microphone's good, but it was blowing a gale. There was a couple of slates from the roof on the floor this morning. And I just couldn't risk my equipment. But if anyone has an old GoPro or a DJI Action that they don't want anymore, feel free to hit me up in the DMs. I would happily take it off your hands and make sure that your name is in my descriptions. I'm only messing. Well, I'm not, like, if anyone does have one, hit me up. I would like to do some of these videos would be quite good in the rain, I think. I think it would be quite atmospheric. Oh no, there's a pincer movement going on. We've got someone behind me here, but then there's somebody over there on the trail as well. What am I going to do here? We might have to go and see the shucky ducky quack quacks. Let's go and see the shucky ducky quack quacks and get back to FPL, because I've just rambled for about 5 minutes about nothing. So yeah, Spurs' early goal, not good, not helpful, not the end of the world. More pleased that it wasn't Semenyo that scored it, because, you know, he's on my list for next week, depending on what might happen. If with Isak, it might be Gakpo, it might be Semenyo, undecided yet. We'll see how the international break shakes down. Cunha, well, Cunha's next on, here's the Duckies. Cunha's next on my agenda for this talk, and I mean, what can you do? What can you do? You know, it's a toss-up between the three Man United attacking midfielders. Well, one of them's a defensive midfielder. I go for the one that's playing centre forward half the time, and he goes off injured after 20 odd minutes. The other two both get 10 points. It's like, I feel like somebody said that I am the new FPL Olympian, and it's a horrible thing to think about yourself, that you are somehow cursed with your choices in this game. But that is a bit how I'm feeling. But I'm not down about it. This is the important thing. I am not feeling down about it. I'm feeling quite positive in a strange way, because that's what I said on the black box was I actually wouldn't be surprised if Man United lost to Burnley. You could just picture it, Lyle Foster having the moment of his career, scoring at Old Trafford to condemn Man United to defeat. And then he did score, didn't he, you know? I think he got another one and it was ruled out as well, as these things often are at Old Trafford. So I was quite impressed with myself for at least calling Lyle Foster correctly. And maybe that is my role in this game. Maybe that is how I should reassess my participation in FPL. Maybe I should hire my services out as an official assistant manager. Maybe I should be, instead of trying to be Eddie Howe, maybe I should be the Jason Tyndall to somebody else's Eddie Howe. Shh. Can you imagine? The assistant manager for hire. I'm just trying to find a way where there's not a lot of people. I'm getting stared at now. So yeah, maybe. The problem is with this game, it's easy to just talk about scenarios endlessly and then feel unlucky afterwards. I don't really feel unlucky that Salah got 2 stoppage time returns in the opening 2 weeks. I don't feel unlucky that Bruno Fernandes got his penalty in the 97th minute. And maybe I could feel unlucky because I had him until 5 in the morning when I was exhausted after the black box and I went to bed. Maybe I could have felt unlucky making my wildcard at that time of night, but you know, I don't, because when you've got these players, you know what they're going to do. You know what Salah can do. You know what Bruno Fernandes can do. These are talismen. They're on penalties. Talismans. They're on penalties. And if a talisman scores a penalty, 90-minute man, minutes monster scores a penalty in the last minute, that's why they are worth the big bucks. That's why Fernandes is more expensive. It is why Salah is more expensive. So I don't really feel unlucky. It's just a bit of a shame. So close to getting out of jail free there. And you know, maybe I'm getting followed here. I feel uncomfortable. I can hear the footsteps. Maybe the footsteps of the Grim Reaper coming to take my FPL career. So yeah, I think I've pretty much covered everything here. Have a look around. Let my pal walk by. Hello!
Are you YouTube, right?
Yeah, I'm just making an FPL video here.
What's that?
Fantasy Premier League. Yeah, you pick your players, and then like if they score, they get points and stuff like that. And I'm a Fantasy Premier League YouTuber, and I'm doing one of the worst in the world. Like, there's like yeah, well, there's like 11 million people play it, and I'm like 9 million or something, and it's just everything's going wrong. But what can you do? What can you do?
How does that work then?
Well, you get your points, you pick 11 players, and you pick 4 subs, and then like they get the goals and the assists, and all the points are added together.
Okay.
So. Yeah, do you know what? You could probably put a team in and do better than I'm doing right now. So
I don't like football, so.
no, it doesn't matter. My brother just hired a team together an hour before the deadline, and he's like 5 million places ahead of me or something. Thank you. Ah, there we go. Heavy Metal Santa on his day off. So now there's a lovely dog going by. Still not used to this. I might even edit that out, but that was nice. So yeah, what I was saying there, my brother, best mate, and my other mate, this mini league of killers, they're 3 of the top 5. So FPL Harry behind my brother. Let's Talk Andy behind my brother. Ben Krellin's behind my brother. He's not in my league. They're all behind my brother with his hour before the deadline team. And maybe there's a lesson for us there, because, you know, maybe my brother, if he wildcards now, he could just copy FPL Harry for the rest of the season and he'd beat him. Maybe this is the strategy. Maybe when I said copy Praz in that video, I was onto something, who knows? But yes, it has not been a good start to the season. We can't deny that. Even getting random strangers laughing at me. But we're doing our best. The spirits are still high. You know, I'm not going to come out here and have a performative tantrum for amusement, because in a way, the wild card relieves the pressure. It relieves that temptation. Now I'm not looking at my team every week thinking, oh, should I overhaul it? Now this is where the real management kicks into gear, where you have the one transfer a week. And I'm not scared of hits. I'll be taking hits. I think it's a season to be aggressive, and I'm going to have to be. And I tried that with Cunha, didn't pay off. Tried it with Gordon, didn't pay off. Tried it with Bowen in game week 1, captain, Sunderland, didn't pay off. But just because it hasn't paid off yet, doesn't mean the strategy won't pay off. If I am to make this comeback, and this is why it's hard to come from behind, because you do talk yourself into these gambles. If I was 1 million in the world, I'd probably have stuck with Fernandez, gone with Fernandez captain. At 9.9 million, you think, oh, I'll go Cunha and I'll see if I can get back up these rankings, and maybe I just need to be a bit more patient. Maybe I just need to temper my expectations a bit. I don't know. But I've had a wonderful start to the season with, you know, the audience, talking to me pals, the supporters of the channel. Very grateful for everyone that is supporting the channel, like beyond my wildest expectations. Very grateful to Az for having me on the black box and making me feel so at ease. And now we have the international break. Time to reassess, time to calm ourselves down and start planning. And I had the perfect ship strategy, and now events, dear boy, events have caused that to go by the wayside. So maybe I'm going to have to be just a reactionary in the opening part of the season. Maybe it's a case of bench boost when I can rather than game week 15. Maybe it's triple captain Hall in game week 6 rather than look for another opportunity. This is what it is. I can't play the cards. I have to play the man. And there are 46, 47 people ahead of me in this mini league. And a lot more than that ahead of me in the rest of the world. And I'm still coming for you. I refuse to give up. And we'll just have to see what happens after the international break. Thank you for watching. We will see you next time.